So one stupid thing people do is make assumptions. After the 1 hour long invasion video, I guess some people took to heart the bit where I said, if anybody ever complains about invasions, link them to this video. Here's footage of me playing as a blue. These people that complain about invaders, they have the mental capacity of children. They play the game one way, and they think everyone else plays the game one way as well. I prefer to do invasions. That doesn't mean that's the only thing I do. Absolutely not. Sometimes I'll play as a blue, or I'll do like a dried finger run, and I'll play through the game solo, and I'll try and like get as many invaders in my world as possible. Because you see, I, like most of the people who are subscribed to this channel, enjoy Dark Souls, and that means the many different facets and spectrums that Dark Souls provides us. It's fun on a multitude of levels. One thing that these nerds that cry all the time about invasions, they want to do uninterrupted co-op with their friends. The greatest meme of all time. There's all kinds of games they could play to do that. But they want to do it in Dark Souls, and then they want to complain when Dark Souls doesn't let them do that. Right? But there's a larger issue. There's Salt, and how it got that way. This dark spirit just disconnected before myself or the other blue could get our Concord. A dark spirit pulled the plug. It's not just hosts, you see, and it's not just invaders. It's the players. It's the people that play this game. Now, in keeping with what we talked about in the last video with tools, I'm going to show you guys something here. I know this guy wants to hit me with those twin axes when I come to see him, so I put on the Black Knight Greatsword, the Black Knight Sword, so that I can hit that pocket poise as soon as possible. That way, if he had got the jump on me, I could have poised through his L1s and traded with some R1s of my own. I'm trying to get into the habit of leaving my other weapon slots empty, and then instead of going into an invasion with full weapon slots, looking at the invasion and saying, what would work here? Because that's a better use of those weapon slots than just putting something there that may or may not fit my need at that particular moment. So far, I've had pretty good success with it. I'm not trying to force something. If there's a weapon I want to try out, that's one thing. I'll force it a little bit. But going into invasions, if I want to win the invasion, I'm not forcing anything. Now, going back to the conversation at hand, these people that complain about invaders and invaders that complain about hosts and blues, they're all part of the same fucking anal cancer that infests Dark Souls 3. And they all bitch and they all complain, and my weird happy little tribe of people that like invading that I hang out with and talk to online, they're like, I would like to think the majority. I hope so. But see, the thing is, a lot of these people that used to argue with me about invasions being either, bullshit and they should be able to opt out of them, or unfair and they're skewed way too heavily in the host's favor, the people that I've talked to about, it's like this dialogue has been ongoing. And a lot of those same people that I used to argue with are now people who say they love invasions and they have a lot of fun with them. And that is what I want. But I can be a caustic asshole and tell you that you're wrong, because you're either going to come around or you're not. And if you do, great, glad to have you. But if you don't, I don't really give a shit. And here's why. We're using the Astora's Greatsword right here. This charge R2 poke is great, and if it's fully charged, it can knock people off ledges, as well as the weapon art. However, you can't live on the moon. If you live on the moon, the latency just won't let me knock you off the ledge. So, shout out to the Somali pirates. I'm glad they found a way to pirate Wi-Fi off of a cruise liner out in the ocean of Somalia. Very well played. It's good that those guys get a chance to take a break from all that buccaneering and, you know, sit down and play some Dark Souls. GG, Somalia. See, a lot of people have come around. They've started to accept invasions. They like them. They're difficult, yes, but it's Dark Souls. It's supposed to be difficult. You're not supposed to win every time. A lot of people didn't like the idea of invasions at all, and now they tell me, hey man, I do like dried finger runs and stuff. I love it. It's great. And that's the kind of thing that you want to hear. But these games, they grow in popularity every time one comes out. They keep getting more and more people. The people are coming around eventually. They will eventually come around. So speaking of tools, we've gone with the Black Knight Glaive because it's really good at shutting down straight sword R1 spam. Now, our opponent's using the Shield of Want, so I equipped Sorik's Night Slayer ring so he could get around that shield. Not forcing the tools, which is the exact opposite of what you're about to see. I really wanted to use this spiked mace. So I was like, I'm going to try it out in this 4-man murder squad. And as a result, I get promptly put in the ground. I can't be mad that I lost this invasion. I tried to force something that wasn't going to work. It was a bad tactic. It wasn't good logic, right? Now, the same could be said for the people who complain about invasions. It's always the invader's fault, isn't it? You ever notice that? It's like the invader's the one who's playing wrong. Or they say, you shouldn't be able to tell us how to play. We get to play however we want. Well, so do the invaders. So yeah, if you don't want to play the level, and I've invaded you, and you want to camp the bonfire, then fuck it. I'm going to do all the scumbag invader shit and play that way. I can't make you play the level. You can't make me play your way. It's a meeting of the wills, is what it is. It's willpower versus willpower. Who's willing to sit it out and deal with it? Now, here we see the same exact group that I just fought, except I'm not using that hammer. I've gone to my light, fast, straight sword, my shield, so I can cover my rolls and my attacks. I've got the Silver Cat ring on, so I can make these little drops down these ledges. I'm not trying to force anything where it won't go. The host has their tears popped, and right before the heal gets to them, they get just absolutely interrupted by the Armor of Thorns, which is another tool that you can use. But that's one of those ones you can just keep on all the damn time. Now, coming up this corner here, I know there's a good chance the host is going to set an ambush for me. So we go to the Black Knight Greatsword. Let's get that pocket poise ready. Boom! R1, R1, straight sword. Finish him off, Armor of Thorns after the tears pops. Beautiful. That's how you use your tools. So, the hosts and people that want uninterrupted co-op, why don't they go play Neo? Or the Fallen Lord Solon Surge, Fallen Lord Lawlin of the Fallen Solon? Because those games suck. What makes a Souls-like is the co-op, the PvP. The multiplayer is seamlessly integrated into the single-player experience. These games are not meant to be ran as campaigns. That's not the way Miyazaki had intended multiplayer to be. You can read any interview and you can see what I'm talking about. Now, because they have the technology, and I'm sure Bandai Namco loves the idea, and Sony loved the idea with Bloodborne, of course they implement these great big massive multiplayer, goddamn near an MMORPG. Of course they did that. But let's go back to Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 and some interviews Miyazaki talked about how the entire idea of Dark Souls multiplayer was based around the fleeting moment of helping or hindering another person. That's where that idea of the multiplayer comes from. These are the only games that have that. So the people that shun them, I don't give a shit what they like, and I don't care if I quote-unquote ruin their experience. We've gone with the Scythe here because our opponent's using an Ultra Sword. We're 1v1, I don't have to worry about anybody. All I have to do is manage my space and grab this guy right outside of my hitbox every time he swings. You saw me get some backstabs earlier, and that was great, but the Scythe is a really excellent tool for fighting 1v1 against an Ultra. Now, you could also go with the Halberd, the Glaive, if you wanted to here, but I wanted to use the Scythe just to use something a little different on this occasion. Now, here's another one where I'm trying to use the Spiked Hammer. I didn't realize there were 3 opponents, I only saw 2. And I thought, okay, well I'll get him with like a turn and burn with my Spiked Hammer. Then I see that there's 2. And you guys help me out here. This dude's Split Leaf is like on fire, like forever. What's the story there? Am I missing something? Does he buff it and like rebuff it and I'm just missing it? Or is there something more sinister happening? He goes for the plunge attack. I'm the king of verticality, so he learns a lesson, and then we're out of here. But the players that I'm talking about, the ones that complain a lot about invaders, and then invaders who complain about how hard the game is stacked against them, it's almost like they deserve each other. I'm kind of like moving away content-wise from like showing stuff off and doing stuff. I mean, if I find something neat, I'll definitely show it off. And hey, guy that keeps asking me to play with the War Pick, it's the next video. I swear to God. I've already got the footage. It's happening. But my point is, at this point, I feel like you either know your stuff or you don't. So I'm probably just going more towards like, you know, just cool invasion footage. I'll try and like sprinkle in like some lessons and some stuff like that. Millwood Greatbow for these guys. They don't want to play the level. They want to sit around and camp. So let's use the Millwood Greatbow. Oh, what do you know? All of a sudden they want to play the level. They got tired of getting headshot with great big arrows that did 400 damage. I can't imagine. It's almost like that weapon's in the game for a reason. So now we've got the Judicator Giant. Judicator Giant? Is that right? Yeah, we've got that guy involved. Rip, 1 Phantom. Now it's just the host and another Phantom. Am I missing something? Why is that Split Leaf always on fire? What the fuck is going on? Anyway. The people that complain on either side, they want to force people to accept their version of the game. Play it solo. Don't have friends. Yada, yada, yada. Or, you know, on the other side, I should get to play with my friends and you shouldn't get to invade me. It's bullshit. Yada, yada, yada. Both sides. Just stupid. Goof, Project Goof one time, he referred to it as an ecosystem. And man, that's maybe like the most spot-on thing there is. There are no invaders without phantoms. There are no dark moons without dark spirits. That's just the way it works. So, that shield's getting on my nerves a little bit. We're going to go with the Spiked Mace, because, one, it can probably break that pretty easy now that we've got the Night Slayer's ring on. We can poise through those one-handed halberd attacks. He can't poise through a hammer. Even with the minimal amount of armor that I'm wearing, as far as poise is concerned, I'm still going to be able to poise through. But, you'll notice, as opposed to last time, I have a reason to be using the hammer this time. I'm not forcing it. I'm using it as a tool, and as a result, I'm getting much better returns on the hammer. Break his guard, rip. So, to conclude my video here, I hope some of you have maybe seen this build up here. I hope you see how the web is connecting. Don't force shit. The best advice I can give you is, you remember that invasion I lost earlier? When I hit the loading screen, I thought to myself, what did I mess up? What did I do wrong? The loading screen is the hub of the mind. It's where we can collect our thoughts. It's where we can you know, put everything... What happened? What did I mess up? The people who refuse to accept responsibility for their mistakes are the people that won't ever get any better at the game. You don't want to be Darkside Phil. You know what I mean? Don't do that. That's bad. That's... You know what I mean? You're never going to get any better. Magic Shield, what's a good tool? Dual Charms. Fantastic tool. And now all of a sudden this very annoying build is just another dead guy in the ringed city streets. That's my video. Just don't force shit, man. Take time to appreciate the entire fucking Dark Souls experience and stop acting like salty bitches all the time. Later, y'all.